Hello there, in this video we're going to continue building our card component, so let's go. So we've got course heading. Let's just go in and apply some variables first of all. Okay, that's all set, so we've set up the typography. We are using Neutral 600, which, looking at the style guide, 16, bold, Neutral 600, good, that's good. Okay, what I'm going to do is Shift A on this and rename the layer to heading, just in case we want to add anything else inside it. I'm going to set that to fill container. Yeah, and I think that's good. So this we'll call the content. So let's Shift A. Let's rename the layer to content. Yeah, I think everything is set correctly. Let's go in here to the text. Let's just update this text to use our variables. Okay, that should be updated now. So that's wrapped inside a content auto layout. Okay, so let's look at this last section here. So this is the pricing. So I'm going to press Shift A. That converts that to a frame. I'll rename that to pricing. We've got the price here on the left, or the before. So let's Shift A on that. Let's type the before price. Okay, so that's wrapped in an auto layout. We've got the before price here. And on the right hand side we've got the actual price we're selling it for. So this is wrapped in a frame. It's like a little price tag that we've got here. Just in case, let's make that as another local component in case we need to make any updates in the future. So let's call this price tag. Let's get rid of this. Let's go into the container, Command V. So let's call this price tag, put an underscore at the beginning as well. So just in case we need to add anything further to, say, more images, different sizes, and same with tags. Maybe we're going to have different price tags or different visuals to kind of signify there's a sale on or there's a discount. Maybe it's good to break these out as separate components, so that's why I'm doing this. Let's go in here and let's just check we're using our spacing variables. So let's go in here and adjust these. Okay, so those are updated. Okay, let's go in here, let's select one of these colors to use, one of the brand colors. Let me just go back in here, change that to Neutral 600. Okay, we use Sapphire 75 for now, just so there's no clashes with, say, if we've got loads of these cards and maybe we've got buttons on the screen. I'm just thinking if visually there's going to be any clash, but I think these are using slightly different colors. So we use a lighter color for the price tag for now. We can always change it later, as we've got this component here, so we'll be able to go in and easily change things. Okay, let's go in here and let's just double check the spacing and apply some variables. All right, there we go. I think we're good to go. So let's click on price tag, Command Option K. Now we've got our component. I'm going to press Command C. I'm going to go over here. Okay, so clicking on the pricing container, I'm going to press Command V. That pastes in our price tag. I'm going to delete the old one out. Just going to update the name of this to card for now and just have a look at our structure. So we've got image, star rating, heading, content, pricing. We don't have any images at the moment, but we can source those later and make updates to these cards individually or at the component level. So that's something we'll come back to. Let's put a stroke on here. Let's go all the way down to, just type it in, neutral. Let me just take the shadow off as well for the moment. So we're going to use the shadow later for one of the states. Let me just go in and add a stroke. I think I want this to be a slightly lighter stroke, but going to, say, the text field, I feel like that's going to be a bit too dark. So if I shift click on that, that's Neutral 600. Let's go back to the card. We're using 400. Let's go down again. So what's that, 2? Let's go to 1. Yeah, I think that's fine. I just don't want it to be too in your face. Maybe I'll reduce it further. We now go to 80, go down to 60. So if we feel it doesn't look quite right, we can always go in later when we're building out the page and we can tweak these designs again. So nothing is set in stone. It's always going to evolve and change. So we'll use that for now. Okay, so I think that's our enabled state. So I'm just going to rename that to enabled. I'm just going to tidy up this section of the frame, so delete the images and delete the old card here. Okay, so let's grab the enabled component. let's just press Command C and let's just start putting these components over on this side of the page. So we've got our states. Let me just copy and paste that in. And as you can see, that's filling the entire container. So let's just set that to hug. We need to spread these out a little bit more, but that's fine. Let's just pull this frame out a little bit for the moment. Okay, so let's zoom in. So we've got our enabled state. There we go. Let's just Option, click and drag. Okay, so we've duplicated our enabled state. Let's just rename that. So the next state we have is hovered. Let's rename that in the layers. Let's select both of these cards. Okay, let's go up here to create a component, click on the drop down and create multiple components. Let's combine those as variants and let's rename this component to card. Let's change this property to states and let's just change this to a vertical layout. Okay, so checking back on some of our other states as well. Let's go to the buttons as an example. We're using a particular type of color. We've got hovered here. Just out of curiosity, eye on the keyboard, shift and click. So it's Sapphire 300. So if we change the stroke, did Sapphire and did 300, I think it was. Let's just make that hover a little bit more impactful and give it a drop shadow. So let's go in here, let's click on effects and let's add our variables. Okay, so those variables are applied. Let's click off, go to shadows here. So I think large is a bit too extreme, medium. Let's set it to small for now. So I think that's fine. So when you hover over the card, the color of the stroke changes and we get a little bit of a drop shadow as well. Let's just click on this auto layout. I just want to bring it out a little bit more. And actually I might just remove the auto layout just for now, just so I can move some of these cards around a little bit more. Okay, so that can be a hovered state. If I click on plus, that adds in another variant. And I think that's using the enabled state by the looks of it. Let's scroll up. The next state on our list is focused, so let's just rename that. Typically with the focus state we're going to use a certain color, so let's just drag that down a little bit for now so we've got a bit more space. Let's do the same with the component, give ourselves a bit more breathing room. Okay, so this one is going to be focused. As an example, if I go back to say the buttons, focused has got that dark border around it. Let's go up to the navigation links. There we go, so the navigation bar. So focused here is set to, if I press shift and I click, it's neutral 900. Let's just lock that. Let's go back to cards. We're already clicked on here. Let's go to the stroke and let's go to neutral 900 and we increase that to 2 pixels. There we go. So that's our focus state. Let's click again. I'm going to click on the plus. And again, I'm just going to have to drag this out ever so slightly. So this state, after focused, we need disabled. So let's go here. Let's click up here and do disabled. Okay, so for the disabled state, let's have a look at the text field component. And let's just double check what are we using here. So if I shift click, that's set to neutral 50. Let me just go back through some of these. So we've got the navigation bar. It's neutral 100. Let's click on here. Let's have a look through. So what's this set to? Neutral 100. Let's have a look here. Shift, click, neutral 100. So actually our text field might need updating here. Let me just double check what the background is. I think that's set to 50. I mean, what happens if I set that to 100? Looks quite extreme. So I think there can be some exceptions to this because we need to see the text here on this disabled state. So let me just go up here and lock that. Let's go down again to the buttons. So that's neutral 100. Go down here, let's press shift, let's click. That's neutral 50. Okay, that's because we're showing some text. So I feel like neutral 50 is probably a good way to go because we still have to show some text on our card. So let's start with the background. So let's update that from white. Let's go to neutral and let's find 50. There we go. Let's click on those two things at the same time. Let's go neutral, let's scroll down. So that's 100. Let's do the same here. So that actually, by the looks of it, is not even attached to a color. So we may need to multi-select and just change that. So let's go in here, Okay, let's multi-edit variants. Yeah, so that's not actually assigned a color. So let's add neutral 600 for now. So at least they're all consistent. Okay, let me just check this one as well. No, that one's fine. Okay, so now let's apply neutral 100. I might actually create a disabled state for this as well. Yeah, let's just duplicate that. Let's just detach it for a moment. Command Option K, shift click on both of these, and let's create a component. It's the price tag, and let's add some states. The top one will be enabled for now, and that one can just be disabled. And let's just follow the same thing again. So I think it was neutral 100, neutral 50. Okay, let me just go and double check that. Yep, that's neutral 50. So what I can do is now just go into this tag, just go up here and just change that to disabled. I think I might just go back down, click here and just adjust so we've got enabled above disabled. And I think for the moment, I think I'm actually just going to drop these stars down to no stars for the moment. Let's just use neutral 100 for these as well. So at least everything is now consistently disabled in similar colors. And I have actually added a disabled state to the star rating component. I think we'll leave the image as it is for now, because if I set it to neutral 50, it's just going to disappear. Let's leave it at that. That should be fine for now. And maybe in some cases you want to show the image on a disabled card, so I'll leave it like that for now. I think that's okay for the disabled state. Okay, that's it for this video. Thanks for getting to the end. Like and subscribe, add some comments, check out some other videos on my channel. And yeah, I will see you next week for another video. See ya.